This is Dr. Second Chance. Welcome to part 2 of cults brainwashing in the recovery community. Maybe so, maybe not. Today we're going to continue our discussion, primarily looking at some tools that are given in the book that I referenced in the first section about taking back your life from the cult, and it'll be down below. So let us continue about how to know if something's a cult. As I mentioned in the part 1 of the video, any group can have a bunch of bad apples that give it a bad name. And so we are stating and recognizing from the beginning that as we look at microcosms of life, we see you can have bad policemen, teachers, firefighters, professors, and the fact that there's a few people that ruin the reputation of an organization, that fact does not make that organization a cult. It still could be a cult, but the actions of a few don't determine that. The book is called Taking Back Your Life by Jean-Jacques Lalich. And so one of the qualities of a cult is that the leadership discourages any type of debate or questioning of what they are presenting as the truth. And so if you have active, robust discussion of what the group believes, then it is not a cult. Another quality of a cult is that the group, the leader or its members, can claim that they have special elite status, and perhaps only they understand the truth. And some groups can give a sense of this in terms of being very confident that they're producing a way that really works for recovery. And so I can see how when groups do this a little bit, or have this flavor, people could think, oh, that is a cult. But on the other hand, you need to also look at what the official position of the leaders and the founders is, as it often indicates that they don't have all the answers. Another quality of a cult is that they can frequently have an us versus them mentality, leading to conflicts that are wide in society. But as a general rule, groups in recovery that have been accused of being cults usually promote people becoming better people and having peaceful interactions and repairing relationships. So unless there's a real intense we are right and you are wrong causing a big rift in society, it's not a cult. Another sign of a cult is when the leader of the cult doesn't have any accountability with anyone. Like, for instance, in a church denomination, there's a chain of command. In the military, there's a chain of command. And so if you have one independent leader, then it's possible that you could have a setup for a cult. But most recovery organizations that have been accused of being cults have like hundreds, if not thousands, of people that lead small subdivisions of the group. And so this, these recovery groups are not behaving in a cult-like fashion. We will talk about the whole idea of narcissistic, pathologic leaders using FBI profiling tools as well. So you can have a sense of someone's if the group is a cult by how the leader behaves. Another sign of a cult is when the group displays an excessively zealous and unquestioning commitment to its leader, whether he's alive or dead. and that's particular with respect to his belief system, ideology, and practices. And they consider whatever he says as gospel truth and law. And there's definitely recovery groups that use information created by their founders and believe it to be good information, but it does not rise this to this level that people believe everything that is there as gospel to die for. Another sign of a cult is when loyal members feel there can be no life outside of the context of the group, and perhaps even fear reprisals for leaving the group. Now, it is true in many recovery groups that people really enjoy the fellowship and believe it works, and so encourage it. But in all the recovery groups that I've seen that have been accused of being cults, people are totally free to walk away and try other forms of recovery, and so this is a good indication of whether something's a cult or not. I encourage you to think about these points and decide for yourself. Use your brain to decide if a group is really a cult or not. And you can decide just as well as anyone else. And so I encourage you to do that. Think for yourself. And I do believe in that there's many paths to recovery. So there's a whole smorgasbord of different groups out there that you can get help with and enjoy life with. Stay tuned for part 3 as we look at narcissistic, pathologic traits of leaders who run cults. And I'll give you some examples of those cults as well. See you next time. Don't forget to subscribe to Dr. Second Gen.